Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. My name is Robert Kipfrell and this is Kip's Tips. This is my first episode actually, so bear with me, but I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my personal finance journey. So we're looking at 2020, there's a pandemic, everybody's thinking about when's the next stimulus check coming. We're looking towards our future because we're sitting here, we're in our apartments, we're cooped up and we're thinking, what's next? I want to go on that vacation. I want to live that life. I want that American dream. I'm looking at properties. We're trying to do it. That's the goal, right? So I'm going to take you through a couple things that I've been thinking about in the last year or so and my beginning to my personal finance journey. Tune in, stick with me through the whole video, and maybe you'll find a couple tips that might help you take 1, 2, 3 steps in the right direction. Let me just pre-emphasize this video by saying I'm not a financial expert by any means. Please, this is just my personal opinion. I am not a financial advisor in any sorts of the way. This is for entertainment purposes only. All right, let's get started. So what's this channel about? Like I said, this is about personal finance. I want you guys to be able to become a millionaire by the time you're 30. I want you to become a millionaire by the time you're 25 if you can. The whole point here is that you got to start young. Now, I'm 27 years old and I did not start young enough. Now, you might be sitting there 35 years old watching this video and say, you're plenty young, whippersnapper, but I feel old. You know, my knees are janky, my back's starting to tweak on me. I wish that I started at 18. I had an opportunity where I used to perform in this musical. I was a cross-country singer basically, and I made a nice amount of change here over a 2-year period that, to be honest with you, I spent it. Now, if I could go back in time, and this video is about, this is that preemptive time machine moment where if I could go back in time, I would have saved that money. If I had saved $100 a week of the money that I had coming in, the amount of money that I would have today, it's hard to think about how much money I could have, and I'm not talking about any crazy salary. I wasn't any famous person with a bunch of money or anything. I'm talking about a simple $30,000 to $50,000 of annual salary. If you save it up over time, you could really make some changes for your life and eventually for the people around you. We're talking about generational wealth opportunities, and that's what I want you to have. I'll say that my parents did a great job of providing me with a great start. I'm fortunate enough to not have any college debt. I will be honest with you guys. I will tell you that right now. And I did go to college. But now I'm realizing more than ever that the most important thing that we can do as people here in the land of opportunity, the home of the free, is that we can create personal wealth for ourselves with just a little bit of hard work and then a little bit of knowledge, which is what I want to bring to you guys. So the whole point of this channel is so that you guys can start your journey sooner than I did, hopefully, because again, if I could go back in time, I'd be sitting in a little bit of a different situation today. What is some of the research that I've done to motivate me to do this, to make some of the changes in my life, to help start saving, and to tell you guys about in terms of creating your own personal finance journey? Well, this is YouTube. I love YouTube. I love podcasts from, I love Joe Rogan. I love Graham Stephan. I got a bunch of friends that are doing podcasts as well. You can look at so many different podcasts out there and just get your start. What is a tax advantage account? What is a 401k? What is an IRA? Those are the things that are gonna make you rich. So in this channel, my goal is to introduce you to some of these basic principles to start helping you shuffle aside money, whether it's opening up a Chase account and moving $100 a week, $100 a paycheck, $300 a paycheck into a savings account. Step 1, open up a savings account. Step 2, do that auto save. I'll be frank with you, I literally just opened up a savings account 2 weeks ago and I have just started my auto payments, but this is one of those things that I'm talking about. This is something that I wish that I did so long ago, because if I did, I'd be sitting in a little different spot and I wouldn't be sitting on a weekend scratching my head thinking, should I go out? Can I afford to go out? Because the budget's tight because I didn't do all the saving, but if I had done the saving, then I'd have a budget that would allow me to do more things. My goal is to help you get into that position so you can be comfortable and you can be free financially for your future. So I'm not a typical investor. I wouldn't consider myself this wisdom guy here. I'm no expert at all. I'm just a guy trying to create wealth for myself and hopefully create wealth for others. Some of the things that I'm doing right now, I'll tell you, is I'm contributing 8% of my company's paycheck, which they match me up to 8%, 50 cents on the dollar, into my 401k. That's going to be building for me over time, and that's a tax advantage account, the 401k. We'll talk about that in another video. The IRA, that's another one that I'm doing. I think my maximum is $6,000 a year right now with whatever my tax bracket is. I'm doing that annually as well. So those are kind of, your basic investments that you can kind of start with. Another thing that I'm doing, and people will call me crazy for this one, and feel free to do so. I'd love to debate it with you guys. I'd love for you guys, by the way, ask questions. If you guys ask me some questions down below, I might create a video on it. I'm a big crypto guy. I got some Bitcoin, I got some Ethereum, I got coins on coins, you name it. I got a lot of altcoins. Again, that's something I'll dive into in another video. I want to dive deep into that. Now, I'm taking on a lot of risk is what I'm saying. I'm an atypical investor. I'll just tell you right now that I've got about 50% of my net worth in cryptocurrency. So I'm clearly not scared of a little bit of risk in my portfolio. Couple things that I'd say about that is, am I regretting that? Maybe a little bit, yeah, because like I said, I'm a little bit stressed, right? If I could go back in time, I would create more of a savings account for myself first. Dave Ramsey is a great place to start. He's got this whole baby steps program. Some of the basic concepts that he talks about is, start with, first of all, you gotta have a job, gotta have the money coming in. Second of all, get rid of those debts. You gotta get rid of your personal debts. And then once you get rid of your personal debts, then you can start saving. Now get a little saving reserve. You could do 3 to 6 months of income. For me, I'm trying to save 5 to 6 grand right now, maybe 4 to 6 grand, and then I'm gonna get a little bit crafty with the rest of the savings and some crypto concepts, which I'll dive into at another time. But the whole point here is that I want to start a channel to show people some of the things that you can do to help better your personal finance journey. Now, you might be sitting here thinking, Rob, I don't even care about it. I'm just, I make enough money, I've always been fine. And if it's something you haven't thought about, then I'm gonna tell you right now, maybe you're doing okay, but you could be doing better. And that's just the point of this channel. You could be doing better. And if you could be doing better, why not? Why not just take the steps and do a little bit better? Here's one of the things I'll say. Here's a warning to any of you out there that are thinking, maybe this is something that I want to do. Maybe I want to start thinking about this. Once you do, you're going to feel great. You're going to be so excited. You're going to dive in. Hopefully I can help you explore some of those topics. When it comes to tax advantage accounts, when it comes to cryptocurrency, when it comes to just a savings account, when it comes to all these basic principles, we'll be talking about buying houses, renting versus buying, a lease versus buying a car, all these things. The one thing that I'll say about all this, you're going to feel great out of the gates. You're going to feel so knowledgeable. You're going to feel like, man, I'm going to be rich in no time. And then a couple of months are gonna go by and you're gonna go, wow, this is taking forever. Oh my God, I have no money. And you're gonna start thinking these thoughts. You're gonna feel overwhelmed. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. If you're feeling overwhelmed, then you're doing a great job. And that's just the fact of it. Finance isn't easy. Personal finance is no easy task. And again, I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy that's learned about it over the last literally year and a half, and I'm 27, almost 28 years old. It's tough, it's hard, but you gotta stay optimistic. You gotta stay on the track, and you gotta keep doing it. Now, you could create a budget. This is something that I also did. I've probably created about 3 different budgets. I've used YNAB, I've used Mint. I've even created my own personal Excel sheet. Personally for me, I really liked the Excel sheet. That's been working out pretty well. That being said, I do stretch myself a little bit thin because the personal Excel sheet probably doesn't make me think about my money in the best way, whereas a YNAB would. We can dive into YNAB another time, but YNAB basically shows you the money that you have to actually use as opposed to the money coming in. It's thinking about the money that's there now as opposed to the money you expect to come in on that next paycheck. And just kind of thinking about those little shifts can really put you in a better space financially. Now, some of you might have credit card debt. Some of you guys might have a lot of different debts that you're working on. That's one of the most important things about a budget is make sure you've got money for that stuff first, because if you've got interest building up on you, especially with the credit card debt, you're just gonna dig a deeper and deeper hole for yourself over time. Step one, you gotta get rid of those debts. You gotta make sure you're paying off any debts you got, whether it's that credit card bill or whether it's, a car payment, which hopefully I can show you guys to avoid altogether. I've got a Subaru Forester personally, and I love the car. It's a 2018. I did it as a lease. Here's one of those time machine moments. If I could go back in time and I could do it again, I would absolutely buy my car in cash if I could, which if I was saving leading up to the day that I decided to go get a car, I would have been able to do, but I didn't, so a lease looked good to me at the moment because it's like, oh, I only got to pay $280 a month, but there's like this interest payment that you got to do, which over time is going to be stacking up on you. One of the main concepts here, and I'm talking about now interest payments, is the less interest payments that you have in your name, the more money that you can have to invest and to create compound interest. Compound interest is your key to getting rich quicker. You need to let your money work for you. Don't let your money work against you. If you are acquiring a bunch of different interest payments that you're gonna have to pay off every week, it's basically just extra money out the door that you can't put towards that future investment. You can't put into the S&P 500. You can't put into cryptocurrency if you want to do it. These are a couple of the basic principles that I'm going to just start talking about in my channel. That's all. I'm going to leave it at that for today. I'm going to have a pretty loose structure to these things. It's going to be very much an open dialogue. Eventually, I want to bring in some guests and whatnot to kind of discuss some of these topics with me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Be sure to hit that like button below. Next week, well, actually, you know what? Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about let's dive into some tax advantage accounts tomorrow. I want to tell you guys, number one, what's the first thing that I should put my money into if I'm going to start investing tomorrow, given that you don't have any debts. Again, this is Kip's Tips. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.